Hi everybody, and welcome to this yoga class. It's a half an hour hip opener class. So start by making yourself comfortable. We're lying on our backs. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees out towards the sides. If that feels too strong for you in the inner groins, please feel free to put blocks or books or cushions underneath the outer thighs. And then bring one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart space. Close your eyes. And really start feeling into your body by focusing on your breath. Just observing your breath here for a moment. Just observing if it's shallow, if it's deep, if it's fast, but not judging it. And then from there, start to make your breath a bit longer, a bit calmer, a bit deeper, really filling your belly and your rib cage up with as much air as possible before you exhale. Feel how the belly and the rib cage rise and fall, how they're pressing against the palm of your hands. Just take a couple of rounds more to establish a rhythm and to arrive on your yoga mat today. Next, extend both arms alongside the body. Hands underneath the outer thighs, and use your hands to bring the knees together, feet to ground, to the mat. We're moving into a figure of four shape, so right ankle on top of the left knee, and then interlace your hands behind the left thigh and draw the legs towards you. Right knee is moving out towards the side, both feet are flexed. And ground the shoulders and the lower back down. Feeling the stretch in the outer right hip here. We're going to swap legs. So this time the left ankle on top of the right knee. And then grab your right thigh and gently drawing both legs towards you. Relax around the neck, relax the shoulders. Feet are still flexed. And keep breathing here. Relax. Extend both legs up towards the ceiling for a moment. And then ground the feet down towards the mat. Prepare for an easy bridge pose. Feet coming closer to the buttocks, legs parallel. Then press through the feet, activate the legs and lift the hips towards the ceiling. Draw the knees energetically towards the midline. The belly is soft and the breath is steady. Then lift the heels and start rolling down from top to bottom, flattening the spine onto the mat. Next, bring the right knee into the chest. Left foot is extending away from you, leg is straight. And hug the right knee in tightly. And next, extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Take hold of your toe, your shin, or your knee even. And gently pull that leg towards you, opening up the back side of the leg. Bring the right arm out towards the side. Move the whole leg over towards the left, finding that nice stretch in the outer right hip. Come back to midline. Swap hands. Left arm out towards the side. Now externally rotate the hip, bringing the foot and the leg closer towards the floor on the right. Still weighing the left thigh down. And come back to center. If you want a little bit more, lift your head up, Try connect forehead to shin and gently pull the leg towards you. And from here, the right leg moves out towards the side. Left leg now lifts and comes towards the left side of the room. And then you're activating into the abs. Bring the hands to touch and then lift yourself through the straddle. And then relax and swap legs. Left leg now into the chest. Right leg is firming down, pressing the calf and the ankle and the thigh as much as possible onto the mat. Take a moment to settle in here. And then extending the left leg upwards to the ceiling. Take hold of your ankle, your calf or your thigh. Opening the hamstrings here, the whole back line of the legs. You can also make this a bit more dynamic. It doesn't have to be static at all. And then grab the leg with the right hand, move the leg over towards the right side of the room just a little bit. Should experience this nice stretch in the outer line of the leg now. And then swap hands, right arm out towards the side, that will help you with balance. And then externally rotating in the hip joint, bring the leg over towards the left. And then come back to center. One more time, both hands onto the left leg. And then lift up the shoulders and the head. If you did so on the other side, navel is firming to the spine. So you're activating your core here. Opening the back line of the body and then come into your straddle shape. Palms of the hands to touch and then lift yourself up and through your legs. Release, take a deep breath. And bring the knees in tight, roll backwards. And when you roll forwards, cross the right ankle on top of the left and come into a cross-legged forward fold. Place the palms of the hands down towards the mat if you can, and then fold deeply over the legs, lengthening through the back of the neck, lengthening the vertebrae away from each other. Inhale, halfway lift, swap sides, so just swing the right leg around the left, and then fold forward again. Sit bones high towards the ceiling. Prepare for Malasana Goddess Squat, feet wider than hip width, toes facing outward slightly. Then bend your knees and sit down into your squat, hands in front of chest. Spine is long. Then release the right hand down towards the floor, left hand extending upwards, open your chest. Release round the spine for a moment to change sides. Right arm extending upwards, collarbones are broad. And once again, rounding forwards into a forward fold. Bring the hands to touch again, lift up into your squat. Then extend the arms forwards, round the spine. Next we're squatting up. High mountain to rise, look up, make yourself as tall as possible. And exhale, squatting down again. Lift your inner ankles up, really activate into the legs when you lift up. We're going to do 3 more. Hands to rise, lift up, inhale. Really firm your legs. And exhale, squat down. 2 more. Press the feet down into the ground to lift up. Exhale, come down, hands forwards. 1 more, squatting up, firming the buttocks and the glutes, and exhaling, squatting down. Now bring the hands to the mat, bring the feet parallel, forward fold, extend the legs, inhale, halfway lift. Place your palms back onto the mat, step backwards and come into downward facing dog. Really pressing all four corners of your hands into the mat, drawing energy up. Shoulders rolling outwards and away from the ears. Sit bones lifted high towards the ceiling. Left leg rises, square of the hips, three-legged dog. And then bend the knee, open the hip, bring the heel to the buttocks as much as possible. Still pressing into the hands, still pressing the mat away. And then square of the hips again, and step the left foot all the way through in between your hands, low lunge, extending the spine forwards. Then lower the right knee onto the mat. Move the hip backwards, straighten out the left leg, flex the foot, and come into half Hanumanasana. You can walk your hands forwards if you need to, and then fold over the front leg if you want a little bit more of a stretch here. And then come back into your low lunge, right knee lifts off the mat. And walk your hands all over towards the back of the mat and come into Skandasana, left leg extended. Then bring the shoulder on the inside of the right leg, drop the right hand, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling, twisting open. Release and come all the way into wide-legged forward fold, toes facing towards the long side of the mat. And choose any hand variation you would like, folding down from the hips. You can bring the crown of your head down towards the mat and come into a halfway lift. And walk both hands over towards the right leg. Take hold of your ankle or your calf muscle. And just let yourself hang into the left upper arm. Keep the hip line as level as possible here. Firming the outside edges of the feet down, and release, come back to center and walk over towards the left leg. The ear can drop to the shoulder, and then release, come back to center, halfway lift, and then heel toe your feet a little bit closer together. Heels in, toes facing outwards. Firm your legs and rise up, 5-pointed star, looking up. Bring the hands to heart space and lower down into horse stance. Hands in front of the heart space, shoulders rolling down, tailbone drawing down to lengthen the lower back. Next inhale, press through the feet, lift up, 5-pointed star. And then extended triangle, feet, right toes facing towards the side, left toes facing forwards. Flip the palm, reverse the triangle, looking up, lengthening through the side body. Release, come back up, shift the hips backwards. Take hold of your shin or your ankle with the left hand, right fingertips lifting up. Stacking shoulders, stacking hips. Release, come back up. And then bend into the front knee, warrior two. Flip the palm upwards, reverse the warrior. And come back up, prepare for half moon, slowly shifting the weight into the left foot until you can bring your left fingertips onto the floor or block. Right fingertips to rise. Active through both legs here. Looking down. And bring the right fingertips to the floor, level out the hip bones, half lift, half split, extending the spine forwards. And then one big step, right toes towards the mat, low lunge. Now ground the right palm down, fingertips facing outwards slightly. We're coming into side plank facing the left side of the room. Choose any variation you would like to. Stacking shoulders, stacking hips. Left arm rising up towards the ceiling, activating into the armpit. Release. Bring the left foot over and behind the right wrists to lower down into pigeon pose. You can walk your back foot towards the back of the room slightly. And then lift up, lengthen the spine. And then slowly start folding forwards. If you want, you can bring the right arm underneath the left, right cheek down towards the mat into a twisted variation here of pigeon. Keep the left foot flexed. Breathing deeply into the back of the heart space. Rolling the right hip downwards. And slowly come back up, walking the hands towards you, firming the palms down, activating the hands, tucking the right toes under, lifting the hips, lifting the knee. And one big movement, down dog with an open hip. So bring the heel to the buttocks again, stretching yourself open, and then lowering the left foot to meet the right foot, down dog. Prepare for hanging cobra. Rippling the body forwards, come into plank pose, and then lowering the hips down, bringing the chest forward, look up if you want to, and then reversing that action first, tucking the chin, and then coming back into down dog. I'm going to move on to the next side. With your next inhale, lift the right leg up, one straight line, hips are level. And then open the hip, bring the heel all the way to the buttocks as closely as you can, twisting the torso open slightly. Keep the shoulders as level as possible here. Squaring off the hips again. And then it's one big step all the way through, in between the hands, come into low lunge. Spine is extending towards the front. Lower the back knee and tuck the toes. Then sit the hips back into your half Hanumanasana, feeling the stretch now in the back of the right leg. Curling the toes towards you. If you want more, fold forwards and downwards to connect belly to your thigh. Still keep the crown of the head lengthening you forwards, and release. Come into your low lunge again first. And then walk your hands all the way to the left of the room and to the back to come into Skandasana. Now squatting down. Hands to heart center, right toes curling towards you. And lower the left hand down, right hand lifts you up. You're twisting open to lower and to walk yourself into wide-legged forward fold. Folding down from the hips, the legs are super active. You're firming the muscles to the bones here. Come into a halfway lift. We're changing it up a little bit. Bring the right hand into the center line. Then to rotate upwards, left hand towards the ceiling, look up. And once again, keep the hip line as level as possible here. Release. Moving to the other side, right hand lifts you up. One straight line. Stacking the shoulders as much as possible, and release, come down again. Now heel toe the feet closer to one another, preparing for 5-pointed star. Activating the legs, one big movement, rise up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands together in front of the heart space and lower into horse stance. Holding it here, relaxing the shoulders, breathing deeply. Rise up, 5-pointed star. Trikonasana feet, right toes facing forwards, left toes out towards the sides. Reverse your triangle first, looking up underneath the armpit. And come back up, shift the hips towards the back of the room. Right hand to right ankle or shin, left hand to rise. Curling the tailbone in slightly. Crown of the head lifting you forwards, elongating the spine. And then come back up with strong legs and lower down into your warrior two. Flip the palm, reverse the warrior. And come back up, warrior two. Gazing over the front fingertips. Knee on top of the ankle. Hips facing towards the sides. Shoulders relaxed. Firming the outside edges of the feet down towards the ground. Now preparing for your half moon. Slowly shifting the weight into the right foot. Connecting the right fingertips onto the mat. And lifting the left leg up. Left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Straight standing leg. Stacking the shoulders. Hips are open. Now squaring off the hips again. Half lift, half split. Extending the spine forwards. Bring the fingertips in a little bit, big step back, low lunge. Left fingertips facing outwards, tiny bit. Side plank variation, right fingertips rising up, stacking hips, stacking shoulders. Activating the armpits, really pressing the mat away. Placing the right palm onto the mat again. Right leg forward, knee out towards the right side of the mat, shin diagonal towards the front line of the mat. And walk your back foot back a little bit to sit down in pigeon. Folding forwards. Left arm underneath the right. Left cheek down onto the mat, finding your twist here, settling in into the shape. And really relaxing, breathing deeply into the back of the rib cage. We're here for a couple of breaths. And when you're ready, slowly move the hands in again. Sitting up tall, tucking back toes under, lifting the back knee off of the mat. Right leg to rise, three-legged open hip dog. Heel comes to buttocks. And then squaring off the hip, making long lines here. And then releasing the right foot down into down dog. From here, bring your feet towards the middle of the mat. And then walk the hands in towards your feet. Find a forward fold, neck is long and relaxed. And then slowly start sitting down towards your heels, coming into a toe stand. Palms to touch in front of your heart space. And then you split the knees, bring the hands forwards onto the mat, lowering the torso down, finding a stretch between the shoulder blades. And slowly bring your heels down towards the mat and sit back all the way down onto the mat, extending the legs into a V shape. We're coming into Uttanasana Konasana. Hands behind you, sit up nice and tall. Crown of the head is lifting you up and away from the hips. And then walk your hands forwards if you want more of a stretch. And you can drop your chin to your chest. Keep the feet flexed, toes facing upwards. And the back is one straight long line. Breathing into sensation here. And find your personal edge here. And then maybe see if after a couple of breaths you can fold a little bit deeper. Or if you even need to back off a little bit. To really feel into your body. And then slowly walk the hands towards you again. Come back up to seated. Use your hands to help you to close the legs. Bring the knees together now. Feet are planted onto the mat, and hug your knees here for a moment, and then start rolling down the back onto the mat, first lower, then middle, then upper back. Hands alongside the body. Bring both knees into the chest. Bring the legs up and over for Halasana plow pose, connecting the balls of the feet to the floor behind you. Straighten out the legs. Press the shoulders and the upper arms into the mat. Use your hands to support your lower back. The hips are lifting high and away from the chest. To come out of it, take hold of the outer edges of the mat and then pull them away from you, and then slowly start flattening out the spine onto the mat. Feet come up towards the ceiling, hands up towards the ceiling, and just moving into a couple of ankle and wrist rolls here. You can close your eyes. Just rolling them around. There's no specific order to this here. Next, come into a happy baby. So take hold of the outer edges of your feet. Knees are split, coming closer to the outsides of your rib cage. You can rock from side to side here if that feels good for your lower back. Then release the hands out towards the sides, wrapping the right leg around the left leg, coming into a twist. So both legs twist over towards the left. Look over your right shoulder. Just releasing the lower back here. Both shoulders stay grounded. And then come back to center, swap legs. So this time it's the left leg that wraps around the right leg. Move the hips over towards the left just a tiny bit. And then gently dropping both legs over towards the right, looking over the left shoulder this time. Stay connected to your breath. Whenever your mind wanders, bring it back to the body. Bring it back to your inhale and exhale. And then come back to center, unravel the legs, straighten them up towards the ceiling, and then curl yourself up towards this little ball shape. Forehead connects to the knees, and then straighten yourself out onto the mat completely, starting to settle into your final shape of this practice, which is Shavasana. Arms alongside the body, toes can flop out towards the sides. Can let go of the breath now. Just let it flow in and out of your body naturally. And then completely relax here. And find stillness.